what is happening in Nigeria is a judgment protocol. There is a sword over Nigeria. The sword is a probe, it's a question, it's a protocol that must reach a resolution. It is God's way of giving you mercy. And the way it does it, it's a function, it's a spiritual function. Imagine an equation that is probing the system and that is asking and demanding for an answer. It will probe the system, and depending on the answers that are given, it will deliver verdict. So within that probe, there will be different divisions within divisions of people. Each person will be responding, each group will be responding. God is always solving for mercy. What God is solving for is mercy. So the ears of God are tuned to the cry of a people. If you read the book of Genesis in the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, God is talking to Abraham and he says, the cry of the place has come up to me and the sin is grievous. So he's looking at a cry is the cry of the oppressed. And when he's detecting that, he's responding in order to bring mercy and salvation to save the oppressed. God is solving for mercy. On the way to solving for mercy, he metes out vengeance. Vengeance is a side effect of a mercy protocol. Vengeance is a side effect of a mercy protocol. So the day of vengeance is the day of revival. So what is happening is that God is seeking to have mercy on Nigeria. So a judgment protocol has been engaged. The word of the Lord has gone forth. When the word of the Lord goes forth, so do the messengers of the Lord. Seen and unseen. Seen and unseen. It says this child will be for a sign that will be spoken against. It will be for the rising and falling of many. Rising and falling of many. So what we're entering is into Nigeria has entered a season. The Kairos moment that Nigeria has entered, the Kairos season, the opportune time that Nigeria has entered into is the day of her visitation. The day of your visitation can be a day of light or a day of darkness, depending on which side of the fence you fall on. So what is happening now is that there is a probe in the system. So what you will see is a lot of divisions. What you are going to find is this spiritual protocol is going to be probing, and it will not stop until it is resolved. What do I mean is the result? God is solving for mercy. One way or the other, through a lot of suffering or little suffering, that mercy will get a landing. Because the cry of Nigeria has risen to the ears of God. Now I want you to consider something. In Sodom and Gomorrah, there were many people who were poor, who were oppressed, who were suffering because Sodom was a wicked place. And if you don't believe me, you can check Ezekiel 16, 49 and 50. In fact, one of the reasons God was angry with Sodom was because they oppressed the poor. They didn't care for the poor and needy. But do you realize that the poor and needy were killed with everybody else? The problem is that the poor and needy, or the people that are oppressed, look at their oppressors and say they are oppressing us. But God looks at every man. He says the ways of a man are perfect in his eyes, but the Lord weighs the spirit. He weighs the spirit. And so what happened, and I will go into more detail, is that when the Lord probed Sodom and Gomorrah, he was probing for mercy. He was probing for mercy. The only place he got mercy from was the house of Lot. So everybody else had to go, including the people that thought they were being oppressed. The reason is that even the oppressed are oppressors. So it's a judgment protocol that will discern. Let me explain. This judgment protocol was even at work when Jesus came, and you'll see it. We'll read it in a minute in the book of Malachi, last chapter of Malachi, it's in the day of the Lord. And you saw it when Jesus said that if only you had known the day of your visitation. And because you did not recognize the day of your visitation, your house will be left desolate. Your enemies will come for you. It will be a bad day for you. So Jesus came as Messiah to save Israel. Because of Israel's response, it ended up being worse than Israel had it before he came. This is the paradox of judgment. So what's happening in Nigeria? This is happening in Nigeria. God is doing what God does. This is what a throne does. God's on his throne. People are now praying that God come and heal our land, but they don't understand that this is the healing process. So what is God looking for? Let's make it very simple. Hosea 6:6. God is not looking for sacrifices. He's looking for mercy. God is not looking for burnt offerings. He's looking for his knowledge. So the answer to the probe is mercy. The quicker and the stronger the answer of mercy is in the land, the quicker and shorter any vengeance will be, and the brighter and higher the salvation will be. I repeat, the quicker and stronger the mercy response. So it is, listen, I'm not saying people protesting was wrong or is wrong or anything. No, please don't, feel free. The point is that protesting is not the answer to the probe. Protesting is the symptom of a spiritual probe. People are stirred because there's this spiritual stirring and it's probing them. Do you notice that in this protesting against brutality led to more brutality? Because the probe is going to push people into polar opposition. The wicked will become more wicked, the kinder to become more kind, so that they themselves will judge themselves. The judgment will be obvious. So when Jesus came, he came doing great works, beautiful works, but suddenly the Pharisees that they knew were bad people before became even more wicked. They wanted to kill Lazarus that was raised from the dead because they were envious. Whereas the sinners who you would have thought were condemned, Jesus didn't condemn them. They then moved and they received his righteousness. So the sword divides, it makes differences clear. This is the time for the church in Nigeria to empty its bank account and go all the way for mercy. Right now, people are looking in the wrong direction. You are looking in the direction of your leaders. You are asking the question, is it from Bodilon or is it from Abuja? People are saying these people must pay. They must pay. Justice must be done. God does not think about justice like man thinks about justice. God thinks about justice from the point of view of giving rights and privileges, not from the point of view primarily of assigning blame. Because God can do all things. He that can quicken the dead, can make what was dead come alive, is not limited by the possibilities that human justice is limited by. Human justice is about assigning blame. Divine justice is about finding opportunity to give rights. Nigeria is on the road that Egypt was not on in 2011. Things can get much worse from here. Things can get better. Whatever happens, there is a path of salvation that will be established and will emerge. But how we get there, how long it takes, and what kind of road we take to get there will depend on our response. Will depend on our response. So church organizations coming together. Pastors, keep your salary aside for 3 to 6 months. Your staff salary aside, put it aside. Keep 10% maybe just for having you, and pour everything out. Widows, orphans, even these hoodlums, get them off the streets. They are angry. Assuage their anger. Don't point to government and say, government, take care of the hoodlums. You are the real government that God has put there. The church money belongs to the church people anyway. It's not for just to be there. We have trillions. Nigeria is on fire. This is the time to release it in mercy. That is the mercy that will speak in heaven, yes, and will cut short this disaster that is looking to find expression. Yes. This is the discerning of the times and what must be done. This wisdom of the just will save us. It is mercy. Mercy. Not mercy that makes human sense. Mercy that won't make human sense. If I talk to pastors and leaders, I will say, do not even screen the people you are showing mercy to. Don't say, oh, you come, we are showing mercy to. Oh, you, are you really poor? No, are you? Everybody. You can't go wrong. Mercy. God is not going to say, why are you helping the poor? No, I'm not happy with that. I'm going to punish you for that. When the church begins to do this, it is going to infect other people, because you instruct people by what you do. The instruction in righteousness is mercy. By doing mercy, people will be instructed to go and do mercy. The hardness of the heart, the anger, the anguish that people are feeling will be softened by the ministration of mercy. This is the way of God. This is the way of the wind. This is the way of the seed. People's hearts will be impregnated by mercy. The mercy you do to a man changes the man. Or you can go on the street, you can blow 200 million shofars for all you like. This is not a ritual. God is not looking at your rituals. There is a spiritual intelligence. There are laws that govern the spirit realm, like there are laws that govern the natural realm. So Jesus says, look at the sky and you can predict. You don't look at the sky and pray to God and say, Lord, help me predict. You have sense to predict, and God is the one that, when rain comes and you predicted, you don't say, I made rain come. You say rain came. God made rain come. But you predicted it, meaning you could predict what God was going to do from looking at the sky. Meaning the meteorologist is predicting what God is not trying to hide what he's trying to do. He's making it plain. Just look. Let's organize ourselves and mercy. Just mercy. Mercy, it will soften the heart. It will turn the atmosphere. And I'm not talking psychologically. I'm saying the spiritual ramification and ripples you cannot measure with your human logic. Angels will respond. Principalities and powers will be weakened. Grant us that we will know the things that pertain to our peace.